What if itching wasn't just a skin issue? What if it was your body screaming for help? In silence. Today's story isn't about a rash. It's about a ticking time bomb inside a man who dedicated his life to serving others. A man whose body turned against him, and no one believed him, until it was almost too late. This is the story of Harold Jennings, a war veteran, a father, a fighter, and a man whose mysterious itch almost killed him. It started like a mosquito bite. One random Tuesday in early spring, Harold felt an itch behind his neck. Harmless, right? But by Friday, it had spread. His back, his arms, even the soles of his feet. "I thought it was just dry skin," Harold would later say. "I'd been gardening that week. Maybe something got on me, but lotions didn't help. Showers didn't soothe. And the scratching? It became obsessive." His wife, Barbara, started noticing blood on the bedsheets. Harold's first doctor said allergies. He prescribed antihistamines. Nothing. A second doctor said maybe eczema. Creams. Still nothing. A third said stress. "You're retired, Harold. Enjoy life." But Harold wasn't enjoying anything. Nights were torture. He'd wake up clawing at himself. He'd sleep in the bathtub just to feel relief. One night, Barbara walked in to find him using a hairbrush to scratch his back raw. Still, no answers. 3 months in, Harold lost 10 pounds. He wasn't trying. The itching turned to burning, and then a lump appeared in his groin. He ignored it. Probably just a swollen gland, he told himself, but Barbara had had enough. "You're going to the hospital tonight." And that's when everything changed. Chapter 4. The real diagnosis, 9:01 to 12 o'clock. CT scans, blood tests, biopsies. Within 48 hours, the truth came out. Early-stage Hodgkin's lymphoma. Cancer. It wasn't his skin that was the problem. It was his lymphatic system. A silent war raging inside him. The itch, one of the earliest warning signs of lymphoma, often ignored. Harold sat in silence. "You're telling me I've had cancer this whole time?" He wasn't angry, not at first. Just stunned. Then came the rage. The 3 doctors who dismissed him, the months lost, the sleepless nights, the shame of thinking he was overreacting. Barbara broke down in the parking lot. "What if we hadn't gone in when we did?" she sobbed. "You could have died." That night, Harold cried for the first time in years, not because of the diagnosis, but because of the years he spent protecting his country, only to be ignored when his own body turned into a battlefield. The chemo began, but the mind began to break too. During the long, lonely chemo sessions, Harold had vivid flashbacks, desert storms, gunfire, the faces of fallen friends. He started having nightmares. Barbara once found him sitting upright at 3 a.m., saluting no one. "We lost Private Morales," he whispered. "I should have pulled him faster." The cancer was eating his body, but the past was devouring his spirit. During one restless night in the hospital, as chemo drugs coursed through his veins, Harold drifted into a vivid childhood memory. He was a boy again, sitting on his father's lap, hearing stories of courage and sacrifice. His dad's weathered hands gently ruffled his hair. "Son," his father said, "sometimes life hurts more than you expect, but it's the strength inside you that makes all the difference." That moment stayed with Harold through decades of battlefields and hospitals alike. Now, lying weak and fragile, that same strength was all he had left. Their son, Dylan, flew in from Chicago. A surgeon. Logical. Cold. "Why didn't you call me earlier?" he asked, almost accusingly. "We thought it was nothing," Barbara replied, tears welling. "Well, now it's not." Tension filled the house. Old arguments resurfaced. Missed birthdays, the burden of being a military kid, the distance. But Dylan stayed. And slowly, Harold's sickness became a bridge they rebuilt, one slow, painful brick at a time. One evening, Barbara found a letter on the bedside table, in Harold's shaky handwriting. "My dearest Barbara, if you're reading this, it means I've been through a storm, maybe more than I thought I could bear. But you were my anchor. In every moment of doubt, your love kept me breathing. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but if I must fight, I want you to know, you were my greatest victory. Thank you for standing beside me, for never letting me give up. No matter what happens, I love you, now and forever." Barbara held the letter to her chest and wept, both for the pain Harold endured and the love that never wavered. One night after chemo, Harold collapsed. He couldn't breathe. His skin turned purple, a rare allergic reaction to one of the chemotherapy drugs. ICU. Machines, tubes, beeping monitors. Doctors fought for hours to stabilize him. Barbara waited outside, praying. "Please, I can't lose him now. Not after everything." He survived. Barely. But the chemo plan had to change. New treatments, slower, gentler. But weeks turned into months. Harold lost more weight, but he also gained something else. Resolve. He joined a support group, spoke to other lymphoma patients, became a mentor to younger men facing similar diagnoses. He even began painting again, something he hadn't done since the war. One piece showed a soldier with a tree growing from his chest. Life from within death. While attending a veteran support group, Harold noticed a young man trembling in the corner. A soldier recently back from deployment, haunted and silent. Harold approached him gently. "Hey, I've been where you are," he said softly. "You're not alone." Over the next hour, Harold shared his own story of invisible wounds, of scars that don't show, and slowly, the young man began to open up. That moment reminded Harold of his purpose. Survival wasn't just for himself. It was to be a light for others walking through the darkness. Then, one cold morning in January, the doctor said the words he'd been waiting for. "You're in remission, Harold." The family cried. Even Dylan. "You scared the hell out of me, Dad." Harold just smiled. "I scared myself too." Today, Harold speaks at veteran centers. His topic? When your body whispers, listen. He tells his story not to scare, but to warn. Itching seems small, but it was my first symptom, and it saved my life. He holds up the hairbrush he once used to claw at his skin. "This nearly killed me. Because no one, not even me, believed something bigger was going on." Then he smiles at Barbara in the audience. "But now, I listen. So if your body feels off, don't wait. That itch, that ache, that lump, it could be nothing, but it could be everything." Like, share and subscribe for more real medical stories that could save lives.